Okay, so I'm making some progress with my Tesla Powerwall inverter here. I don't expect it to be successful, but for now I've got 38 batteries. They're going to be hooked in series. They're not connected yet. I'm going to connect these two together through the switch. So that'll be on and off. And so that'll break a set of 12 batteries. These other two wires are going to these two. So the switch will break it here as well, and the switch will also break it here. That way I'm dealing with a little bit lower voltage because I am going to be leaning over this stuff. So yeah, you know, Tesla made these kind of high voltage. We got some wires coming from the solar panels there. And if you start an arc, you can get it to go about 1/2 of an inch. Ooh, there we go. Look at that. That was a whole inch there. So let me show you about what's going on here. Okay, hang on, let me get this out of the way first. Alright, it's out of the way. Okay, so I got a 12 volt battery here that is not connected, it's not going to be connected to any of these. It supplies 12 volts to this to wake it up. This actually runs off of 120 volts. So that's what this is for. This is taking 48 volts in, putting out 115, whatever. You can turn it on here. And then it says 20, and then you gotta turn it up. Alright, there, 120. So push OK. Perfect. Alright, so now it's sending 120 volts DC to this. When we turn this on, it's going to first send power to the inverter through the resistor in order to slowly charge up those capacitors for about 2 seconds, and then it'll turn the main relay on to connect the actual battery straight to the inverter, and then that one will shut off. So turn that on. Click. And click, click. You heard that? Alright, so now this one's off, that one's on. So let's turn it off here. I'm going to turn this switch off. Okay, so this is the main positive. This is 450 volts positive, and it's going up through this little fuse. All the power from all those batteries are coming up through these little 10 gauge wires into this 6,000 watt inverter. What I would need to make this thing actually work would be a Tesla battery, because it has a computer in it that communicates with this one, and they both agree to turn on together. I would have to maybe write some software on the computer to communicate and pretend to be a battery, so that it would actually pull power out of these batteries instead. Then the computer could send commands through the communication cable to the battery controller so that the batteries behave properly. In the Powerwall number 1, this is the number 2, but the Powerwall number 1 uses rs-485 communications to communicate between the battery and the inverter. This one only uses 485 to communicate between itself and the batteries. It won't command this to do anything through 485. So if the Tesla Powerwall number 2 is anything like the number 1, it will only work with 485, which means I do not have the ability with this to command that, which would mean I would need to use that. And I don't know how to write software to trick this thing. So if you guys know, please let me know. It communicates through CAN bus, through regular COM port. I can show you a COM adapter around here somewhere. Okay, so if you look at this, I'm going to unplug it. You'll remember seeing these on old computers. They all had them up through like 2007. So, or was it this? I think it was the other one. Anyway, this USB cable gives, you know, a newer laptop the older style connector. And it's basically just a COM port, so I plug it into here. I cut the wires, so now I have access to the wires, so I can hook them up to things like the inverter. This thing was originally set up for 24 batteries, not 38, so I had to purchase a flash file to flash that through the rs-485 connection, going through the Gory wire to the computer. So that's my 485 deal. I think you guys already seen that previously. So this thing will also communicate to the laptop through the COM port if you have the right brand COM adapter. If your computer's old and it came with a COM port, it will not work. You have to have their particular USB to COM port brand hardware. And then you can monitor all the batteries at one time. As of now, through the 485, I can only monitor one battery at a time. So it helps, but it's not perfect. But I don't think I can hook the laptop to the 485 and see the batteries when this thing is plugged into the batteries. So I think it's one or the other, and this thing will do a better job balancing, because it'll balance all the batteries to each other when the computer will only balance the cell blocks to each other. I mean the internal cell blocks. So there's 4 blocks in here, and yeah, I think I explained that in a different video, so I won't bore you. Anyway, wish me luck, and if you guys know anything that can help me make this thing actually work, that'd be great. I'm going to turn it on here in a little bit. It'll probably grid tie and, you know, send power to the grid just fine, but I don't think it's going to do a standalone without faking a Tesla battery.